unique accent, language that we can use to sing gospel. You enter, it is from start to end. It is because we blindly accept their own to enter into our own and took over. That's why our people have grown up with it in their brain. It is very simple to take it back. No matter how we say we want to act film or we want to produce music, in as much as theirs is dominating in this country, we can never ever take over. It is very simple. Slow down the inflows. When you slow down the inflows, giving access. I hear some people say, oh, they'll go and watch on YouTube. Yes, go and watch on YouTube. We all know what MTN and Orange is doing to us. Data is it's not easy. How many people? So, but do it that way. Go into the system, slow down the foreign inflows, and feed our people with what we have. They will grow up with it, and before you know it, we are back on our knees. That's simple.
But let's look at this issue of the church. You know, we are told that what happens in the physical is made in the spiritual. At the spiritual realm, most men of God, I don't know whether they're giving the impression. It appears many Christians think that God listens to Yoruba, Igbo, and other better than they would do to the Bakwiri or to Douala. Yeah, when you worship God in Douala, maybe you're not very pure.
So wait.
No, Mr. Leo.
No,
I'm talking.
Let us understand this.
Yes, I'm talking as a clergy. You see, people do not know how to manage the flow of revival.
Okay.
Revival is a move of God from each nation, once at a time. For instance, in America, where revival break out, most of the Nigerians moved to America. They went there to learn the secret of revival, not to copy the culture of the Americans. Come on. So when the revival break, you saw people like Bishop Oyedepo, Papa Adeboye, and the rest were rushing to America to go and see Kenneth Hagin, T.L. Osborne, and the rest. They went there to learn the secrets of revival. When that secret of revival moved over to Nigeria, you realize there was a boom in church growth in Nigeria. What they learned the secrets, but their culture remained the same. Come on. Just like the British colonized many African countries and other countries in the world. In India, they colonized India. India's language did not change. Their first language is Indian.
Yes.
Their attire did not change. Their attire still remained their sari for women and their long gown for men. Their culture did not change. The worship of their god is Hinduism. They still practice their Hinduism. But you see, when they moved to Africa, Africa took English, took suit and tie, took everything and lost our culture. That is the same thing with the church. The church of God in Cameroon is not drawing the spirit of revival from Nigeria, is drawing the culture from Nigeria. Nigeria brought in revival from America, yet sang songs in their dialect. They did not sing like Americans. They didn't dress like Americans. They didn't operate their church like Americans. They didn't behave like Americans. They don't change their tongue like Americans. It has gotten to the extent where Cameroonian pastors, their tongue is like Nigerian. They will tell you, what in they worry you?
What in they worry you?
Now,
some kind of things.
What did they worry? What did they worry you? That's English. What did they worry you? That's our pidgin here. Then you see, we went there to the extent that you see some people run their churches exactly the way it's in Nigeria. I think it's followership. They want to sing like the man of God. They dress like him. Dance. They dress their choir like him. They address their church like him. They almost preach his messages. That is not mentorship. That is not followership. That is copy and paste.
Yes.
When you are being called, there's a uniqueness of your ministry. You may draw inspiration from somebody, but you should not draw the person's culture. So we have not gone to Nigeria to draw the spirit of revival. We are going to draw the culture. That's the reason why everyone you see in Cameroon, the ones who are following Apostle Suleiman, they want to jump like Suleiman.
Yes.
They want to shout like Suleiman. They want to cry like Suleiman. Inside the very Nigeria, Bishop Oyedepo is submitted to Papa Adeboye. Bishop Oyedepo does not shout. Somebody shout hallelujah. He's unique.
He doesn't do that.
Bishop Oyedepo does not tie headscarf. The Papa Adeboye ties headscarf in his church. Paul Enenche submits to Bishop Oyedepo. Paul Enenche's choir is using headscarf. Bishop Oyedepo choir is using headscarf. That means the guys maintain their uniqueness even to the level of their own nation. So when we copy their culture and transfer here, it's a loss of identity. Loss of identity. Loss of personality. We have an identity crisis in this nation. And that's the reason why when we go to other countries, we don't go and learn what we have to learn there. We go and carry their culture and bring here. How many pastors do we see on Sunday wearing togu to preach? How many pastors do we see tie wrapper like Bakwarian and shirt and preach? How many pastors do we see wear Bameleke attire and preach? What we see is Nigerian attire, Nigerian senator dress, Nigerian this. Even to the extent that we are organizing our marriages, our ladies are wearing beads like Nigerian ladies. We dress like Nigerian ladies. We go to act movies in Cameroon. Our native doctors don't put this thing on their eyes.
On their eyes.
They don't. We have copied to the extent where we now pull around. So you cannot differentiate. Please, as much as we are there to draw knowledge from them, we are not there to transfer their culture here.
One day.
It should be corrected. And this goes to all the ministers of the gospel listening to this program. A pastor runs his service based on what he sees another minister is doing in Nigeria. You have lost your identity. There's a uniqueness. I'm submitting to servants of God, but my uniqueness is there. As a matter of fact, there are people I submit to who don't even believe in this thing I'm doing in the political domain, but I know what God called me to do. So it's not a copy and paste stuff. It should be a place of drawing inspiration and knowledge where you maintain your identity.
Okay, I'll take some messages, so many of them. Good evening, Mr. Kum and your panelists. We can believe in us, promote and consume what we produce by. Let the powers that be reduce import of the things we produce. Let Cameroonians have access to markets, good roads. The government should produce, if not remove, the taxes that most of our producers face daily. Karana Diodune is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, Mr. Liu and Co. Today's topic is so interesting and attention-calling, and to a certain level, I stand with CY International for his fight, but let him allow the collaborating between the 237 entertainment industry and the foreign country, because he would still bear with me that some Cameroonians have emerged so great because of the collaboration with foreign countries. Keep the fight, but don't exaggerate. Ngong Menek Neville writing from Yaoundé. I'm not sure he has said that there should be no collaboration. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Your programs are usually very interesting, thought-provoking, and useful. The system in which we find ourselves make us to think and believe that we produce what we produce is not important. Our big people treat themselves in Europe and America and Asia. Our school systems train us for the public service, coming and traveling abroad. Ayuk, writing from Kumba. Good evening to you in the studio. Mr. Liu, I'm ashamed. The only product Cameroon has put more effort in producing from the primary to tertiary is beer, and level of consumption is alarming. Gerard is writing from Yaoundé. Greetings to everyone in the studio. Greetings to you, my special bro CY. Concerning what my bro CY said about creating jobs, sir, for example, we have many businesses aside the snack bars, but the Cameroon taxation system is a big mess. I am a victim of this. Open a business within 2 days, you will see Empo. And okay, but I'm sure Windy Praise is writing. I'm sure it's also out of exploitation, because we have been given some time when you open a business before these guys can come around. Good evening to you all in the panel, Mr. Leo. When you people begin talking about these things that are real, I feel ashamed of myself and the kind of government we have in our country. I doubt whether those people take time to listen to what you people are saying. Okay, CY International. Good evening to you, Awilo, who is watching us from somewhere out there in Bonaberry. And to you, Fang Dominique from Bafmeng Elite in Douala here. Mr. Anthony Apapa, also an elite from Bafmeng. And Temban Pascal, an elite from Batibo, based in Douala. And greetings to all of you, Mr. Anthony. Tembang Pascal, and to you, Mr. Dominic. You guys are watching us probably from Bonaberry. Awilo, good evening to you. Now, let me get to you now, CY International. How do we help Cameroonians to believe, have confidence in what is produced in Cameroon? Because whether we like it or not, we say, yeah, and rice is the best, bull rice is the best. But where are they in the market?
Mr. Leo, I have said this thing many times, and you see, like what somebody just wrote, CY, you have to allow collaboration, artists, Cameroon artists to collaborate with. No, come on. First of all, before you engage into an argument, find out what exactly are they talking about. Ask, what is the meaning of 80-20? 80-20 means, let's put values to what we produce in this country at 80%, and what is coming out of the country 20%. So it doesn't ban anything from coming to the country. It doesn't ban any collaboration between Cameroonian business people and foreign business people. But it should be slowed down. The values, the inflows should be slowed down. That's the only way we can survive and make our own. If we cannot give values to what is being produced in this country, my brother, there is no way we can succeed. Now, Mr. Liu, I want to say something very, very pertinent, because many people have been criticizing me on social media. Yesterday, I celebrated 10 years anniversary for fighting this thing for Cameroonians. And by the grace of God, the success is very visible. Now, people are criticizing me, saying, oh no, you should channel your gospel to the ministry. Channel your gospel to the ministry. No. See why you are attacking the wrong people. You should be talking to the government. You should be channeling your campaign to the government. No. My intentions of starting this particular campaign of 80-20 has never been focused to the government, the people. Because what I think is that, for example, if the government decide today to block Bonaberry Bridge, that is, just wake up one morning and said Bonaberry Bridge is blocked, nobody's going up, nobody's coming down. Trust me, in less than no hours, people will vandalize, people will revindicate, people will go to the street. Are you getting me, Mr. Liu? Because there are some people who have woke up in the morning, go to Bonaberry to do their things. You understand? Now, what does the government need to do? The government need to make an announcement that September 24th, Bonaberry Bridge will be locked. As we are going forward to that September 24th, people are already diluting it in them. They are already getting it, and they will be preparing. Before that 24th, any person who is that side would have made sure that they have already crossed over. You understand? What I'm doing now, I'm trying to alert the people. I'm trying to, I'm trying to brainstorm the people. I'm trying to tell the people. It's a message that I'm giving them. So much so that it should be soft to them. If the government comes in now and make it a law, put it every system that we have to put value 80% to what is produced in this country, it will not be heavy again for the people. Now, people say, oh, see why your method you are doing is you are so harsh the way you are doing it. My brother, my inspiration came from the Bible. It is very simple. Man of God, you can bear with me. When Jesus Christ was told that your church has been hacked, the house of your father has been hacked, they have turned it into a marketplace. We all know Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ has no trace into fighting. He has no muscle that he can fight physically. He was a man without any quarrel or any argument or anything that concerns brutality. Jesus Christ had that powers that he would have arrived in that church and toast his fingers like this, bah, and everybody disappear. He had that powers because he was the Alpha and the Omega. But he chose not to. He came physically because at that moment there was that spirit of change, and what that spirit of change carried was that particular physical katakata. That particular time, what the people needed to hear was that boom, come out for here, fiap, come out for the place, fiap. That is why it is necessary at times to beat a child. You don't beat a child because you hate them, but you beat the child because maybe you have used your vocal to talk to him. Don't sit here, and you realize that he's not hearing. You need to use a cane, and when you use that cane, they change. So what I'm doing is the message, is the language that people need to hear. Take example, when coronavirus came out, us Cameroonians, when coronavirus came out, you people, you preach it in the TV, nobody here. Put on face mask, oh, nothing. Face mask, oh, nothing. They sound it in the radio, Papa promote, they do it, oh, nothing. But immediately police people entered the street, arrested 40 people, slapped them with fine 25,000. 30 minutes, everybody, the whole street turned a zombie. So this is exactly what I am doing, and it is going. It is going clearly. You have to. There comes a time where you need to hit the people hard. Let me give you another sweet example again. You know Kumba, Apostle Ambe. Mr. Leo, you know Kumba. Kumba is one of the most demarcated towns in Cameroon. People who have been there, they will see it. When Nokombele started working in Kumba, my brother, every blessed day there were people throwing curses on Nokombele. You go die tomorrow. Oh, Kama go follow you. Balo go follow you. See that mommy where they suffer. He do small marketing for corner road. You don't go scatter them. Oh, see that papa where don't build a small house today. You don't go scatter them. But today, Kumba people are celebrating Nokombele every blessed day. Papa, oh God be bless you. Because why? They have seen light. So sometimes to make light shine on people, you need to crack their eye. Water come out first. When they cry, then they open, they see clear. It is good. That's exactly what I'm doing. And the reason why none of them who have been planning to destroy me, they want to say they will kill you. Oh, we will do this. The reason why none of them have been able to touch me is because...
Apostle Ambe, before I get to what I actually wanted to ask you, is this greetings to you. Excellent panel. I'm a large-scale cocoa farmer, but has recently diverted into palms. Producing what we don't consume is terribly wrong. I even plan to engage into cocoa transformation in the nearest future. We can't be slaves forever. Greatness will only come when we stand on our own. Cameroon is great and I remain a proud Cameroonian. I personally believe that the wealth of this country is more than anywhere else in the earth. Long live Cameroon. Mr. Issa is writing from Mbuda. Yes, but is that not what you said? Because there is a mindset, cash crop, so much money.
Of course.
But look at maize. Maize can...
What does it produce?
Yes. There is a lot that...
Mr. Lou, the government has given a command to those who do not know that brewery companies should not import maize out of the country again.
Okay.
So maize is a better goal now than cocoa. The education they gave us, I don't know who call cocoa cash crop, because they should be able to tell us what is cash crop and what is food crop, because this thing is a colonial mindset they gave us. Cash crop, if they sell cocoa, don't they sell cassava? Don't they sell cocoyam? Is cocoyam not producing cash? Then they told us that coffee is cash crop, cocoa is cash crop, cassava is food crop, cocoyam is food crop, corn is food crop. See, that cash crop has to do with the environment. If cocoa is cash crop to Europeans, corn is cash crop to Africans. If coffee is cash crop to Europeans, cassava is cash crop to Africans. I don't know who told who that cocoa should be called cash crop and corn should be called food crop. Ask me how many Cameroonians consume products from cocoa. How many Cameroonians consume products from coffee? If a cocoa farmer and a cassava farmer do large-scale production, the cocoa farmer is working for those who process cocoa. A cassava farmer is working for those who consume cassava. You will realize that at the end of the day, the man that produces what is consumed here most will make more money than one that sells to those who take it and make their money. As a matter of fact, we are producing what we don't consume. So they gave us the impression that cocoa is cash crop. To me, corn is cash crop to any Cameroonian now. If you engage into large-scale production of corn, all the brewery companies from Guinness to Brasseries, they will buy from you. And when they buy from you, you are not sending it for somebody to process it and then they sell back to you. No, you are selling directly to the consumer. And he who sells directly to the consumer makes more money than he who sells to a broker. Because Swiss is a broker, France is a broker, Germany is a broker to cocoa. And once they are buying from you, Holland is a broker to cocoa. Once they are buying from you, they are buying to go and make interest. But if you are selling to a brewery company directly, you are selling directly to the person who is going to consume. So I don't want us to go back with the mentality that was given to you in primary school that cocoa is cash crop, coffee is cash crop, corn is food crop, cassava is food crop. Cassava says anything that produces money is cash crop. I've come to challenge that philosophy they imbibed in our minds many years ago. Because you don't tell me that a crop is cash or food when all of them can produce cash.
Telling you.
Does corn not produce cash? See why?
Makes sense.
It doesn't. Cassava not produce cash. So what makes cassava food crop and cocoa cash crop? Cash crop.
Honestly,
so it is cash crop based on where it is sold. Corn in Cameroon is cash crop because it sells more than cocoa here.
Truth.
How many people are buying cocoa? And cocoa is seasonal. Corn is 3 months. By the time a cocoa farmer wants to wait for the year to go round, somebody has sold corn 4 times a year. Mr. Leo, I think we need to go back and reprogram the minds of our people. Most of the things we are hurrying to produce is because of what they educated us. To me, cut down that cocoa farm and plant corn. Cut off that coffee farm and plant cassava. Let me see if you will not succeed. China has come and carried cassava from this place. They are now cultivating cassava in China and producing bags of gari and exporting it. Why did they not carry cocoa? They planted the cassava. They have not opened cocoa farms in China, but they have opened cassava farms. Is that not ringing a bell now yet? It should ring a bell. Cassava can produce bags of gari you will sell 2 or 3 times a year before a cocoa farm gets ready. The amount of money invested in a farm of cassava can be invested in cocoa. Cocoa has chemicals, two-party, clearing, chopping, insecticides. See why you did that cocoa thing, if you explain part of it. How much money is invested in cocoa farm compared to farm of corn?
On farm of corn, of course.
For how long does cocoa stay to produce? And how
longer.
For corn.
Longer.
So by the time a cocoa farmer is doing 1 year production, a corn man has produced 3 times.
And the labor in cocoa is 100 times harder
than the one in corn.
Than the one in corn
and then,
or cassava.
And then cocoa does not even have a market here. It has a market where they buy it even cheaper and produce and sell back to you 10 times.
This guy is right that we have been enslaved for so.
It's a mindset. Go to their geography book, economic book, cancel that thing. They say cocoa cash crop, corn food crop. Cocoa is cash crop to white man. Okay. Corn is cash crop to Africans.
Let's take the situation of our forests.
Yes.
One very huge forest in Cameroon.
Yes.
Wonderful timber, wonderful furniture makers.
Of course.
How do you feel when almost everything that we find in our offices, private, public, are imported? When we have, the timber is coming from Cameroon.
Yes.
The forests are in Cameroon. We have furniture makers in Cameroon. But when you go to almost every office, what we find there is important.
Mr. Leo, I have said this thing and I'll repeat it again. To make this thing work is very, very simple. Let the government, they are good at creating commission now. They should just create, because the custom, they have already failed us. They should create a commission to monitor these things that come into the country. Those furniture chairs, it is very simple. Put some very high tax. Let it be very expensive to buy those furniture chairs that come from abroad, and then the one that have been made here, put them at a good price. People will prefer this one, and before you know it, they will lose interest from that one that's coming abroad, because it doesn't make sense, my brother. I mean, toothpick, we import toothpick. Toothpick, you see that the road it is written made in Nigeria. Toothpick made in China. Even this ear cotton buds. Can you imagine cotton buds? We import cotton. It really makes no sense. It really makes no sense. It's so disappointing. It is. We have all the qualities of wood here, and then the sweet part is that Apostle Ambe, we have very solid technicians.
Yes.
Good guys. But how can those guys listen? Technicians that we have in this country, those creators, those fabric guys, all right, those guys are capable in less than, just give them 3 years, they are capable to reduce joblessness in this country. If only you can put a ban, that is, let me not say ban, you can put a slowdown to foreign influence. You understand? Some other person asked me, what if another country decide to put their own? My brother, what you don't have, you come and ask for me. Of course, what you don't have, you ask me. You will not have choice. Yeah. No matter how you control your own, what you lack, you ask me. And anything that makes you lack, I'll ask you. Yeah. It's simple. If we don't trade on telephone, we trade on keys. Are we not bringing telephone from that side? Yeah. So let us be bringing telephone from that side, and wood that we are making here, you too, you should buy wood from us. It's simple.
Okay.
It's very simple.
We should get what is needed a year, and possibly import just what we need. What we can produce. Yes. What we can produce, we produce here. But now, let's look at the government itself. Are they not aware that their offices the billions that are being taken out of this nation could be preserved if we empower. Why not create furniture?
Carpentry and joinery.
No, big furniture companies in all the 10 regions of the country. Employ Cameroonians and make sure that a law is passed that every government office should use furniture, because they change it almost after 2-3 years. Yes.
Mr. Leo, do you know there is an, how do I put it, a place around Jiga Palace in Ewane, opposite some African kind of, I've forgotten all that place. If you enter into that place, everything there is done naturally by the wood of this nation. You can see the beauty and the solid nature of how that place do that, because the Africans use their craftsmanship. They use their ability to do sculptures and then design that place. You see how solid it is. Funny thing is that these imported tables and chairs, they use the sawdust. That is to say, we have wood here. They take the wood over there, process it, then take particles of the wood, combine together with gum, and then seal it and produce tables and send back to us. Of which the original materials of the wood that they use there, they use it to produce what they use over there. But it is a leftover they use to send us here. I'm doubting if at all, if we are importing in technology like vehicles, because we don't have skillful men that can produce vehicles here, why should we import even furniture? To the extent that we have big furniture shops in this nation that will tell you that upholstery from Italy, upholstery from England,
from Turkey.
So bad to the extent that even the shoes we wear, we have young men and young men that produce excellent shoes here, but we say the shoe must come from Italy, the shoe must come from England. They will tell you this is Mr. Jones shoemaker. They tell you handmade, as if we use the machines to make our own here. That is the kind of mindset we have. My problem is not just the issue of what we are consuming. My problem is, you ask about the government. If the government could not invest in the lives of carpenters within the 10 regions of the country,
identify those who are doing so well, give them money to establish.
I go back to politics. So if they do that, what they think they get as money that they pay for import, taxes, they won't get. A country that does not go in production but depends on taxes for survival is a very dangerous country. The reason why we will keep on importing, because we are making huge money at the entry ports of the country. And if we start producing here, some of those things will not be coming back again to the country. So the man who sits at the port there will not be making the kind of money he's making if at all we start producing here at home. Imagine if we cut off the inflow of all furniture products. All those containers carrying those chairs and tables and all whatnot from Europe and America, they won't come again. That's huge billions of money being deprived the government through taxes. But what is wrong with us to think that a nation must make money only through taxes? Why don't we encourage the production of home-based products and see how we can meet the needs of our people? Because I believe chairs made here last even more than what is imported out of the country. From experience I have gathered.
Okay, this starts with culture, and culture has to do with tradition. Can we say we miss it at the level of who we are, because our identity is founded on either English or French? Look at the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Yes.
When the guys there, they speak Lingala. You go to Kenya, the guys and other they speak there. I don't know whether it is Swahili and the rest.
Mr. Leo, honestly, it's
once you can't speak good English or you can't write good English, you are lambasted.
Yes,
and we pride ourselves because is that not also, and we are priding ourselves of something that is foreign.
Mr. Leo, you see, there's a whole lot of problem. That's why I used to say a lot of our intellectuals in this country, they need common sense from those people who have not gone to school. Because sometimes when you hear intellectuals, they talk. I used to be on panels, especially online, people who claim to have big degrees in school. They will give you, what they have conditioned their mind to believe that if you are not using this dedication, medication, denomination, all those shons, it means you don't have sense, you are not educated. You understand? So their education is limited at the level of academy. Common sense don't alter. Mr. Leo, to be honest with you, it is not making sense. I've been to Ethiopia. Man, it's sad. I hear some people used to say, no, don't forget, we have French and English. And so what? What has French and English got to do with our culture and our identity? What has French got to do with our culture and our identity? What about Congolese? How many tribes do they have? Nigeria, how many tribes do they have? Ivory Coast, how many do they have?
Now look at the way they
have you ever seen them change?
They hold strong to Yoruba and Igbo.
But let me even tell you something. Honestly, right? It's a big problem. Do you know an English Cameroonian will be proud to boast among their friends that I am the only one working in this company? Whereas if you employ an Igbo man in that company, before you know it, 1 month, number 2 months, they have hijacked the whole place. Because even to the last cleaner would be a guy from Nigeria. So it's a mentality problem that's why God is giving some of us strength and invisibility for those people to take us before time, to be orientating our people about these things. Because Mr. Leo, it is a very big problem. Our culture is something that we don't need to tamper with, no matter what. We don't even need. And let me tell you something, Mr. Leo, if we had that cultural, that cultural togetherness, even where we are today concerning what is happening in Cameroon, we wouldn't have get here. We wouldn't have gotten here, because I cannot lie to you. We have that spirit that even if we sit here now, we'll decide something, say, okay, see why tomorrow we'll go use another motor, go for this place. If the story is not clear, there will be one of us who will just make some choo. It is like if we discuss something here and I don't go out and share it with some people, and it will not make me a man. It's a very, very big problem. It's a very big problem. So this thing, to fight this thing out, it is very simple. It is very, very simple. We pray God that one day the government will come in and sit into this. Make it 80-20. Before we had this 60-40. Let's not forget that. Because we know that in the system, it shows that we have to, prioritize homemade at 60% and foreign at 40%. But it has never worked, because we blindly allowed the foreign stuffs to overtake what we are having here. Mr. Leo, this year, it really makes no sense that you would tune to one Cameroon radio. Apostle Ambe, you would tune to one Cameroon radio from 12 o'clock till the morning. Is playing some Nigerian music at non-stop level, or Congolese, or Ivory Coast. It's a very, very big problem. And the simple way to stop this thing is for government to come in, put this 80-20 to practice, make it a bill, a law. A law. It has got nothing to do with international relation. Even till date, do you know that Nigeria recently banned models? No model out of Nigeria has right to do any voicing or any publicity in Nigeria. Are you understanding? They are banning international artists. Artists like Snoop Doggy Dogg, they have been banned on so many countries because what they do, or maybe their videos or their songs, do not match with what the government is giving to their people. They have right to ban it.
Okay. Good evening to all of you watching. Special greetings to you, Honorable Ngala Gerard, who is said to be working so hard for the Ntaba and Kambe road for it to be tied before the end of this year, and also to you, Shea Jones Yembe, who is also working the background to ensure that the people of Donga Mountain get the best of what they desire. And also good evening to those of you watching us from Du and Kambe and across Misaje and across the entire division of Donga Mountain. We look at how to survive the global market, because we are in the global market. It is a market that is so open, and we also know of the phenomenon of osmosis. Once issues are emitted on the level ground, there is a tendency for the stronger solution to get, yes. How do we survive in an open market?
Play to your strength.
Okay.
That's the secret.
That's the secret.
Play to your strength. It is very certain that we cannot go to the global market and begin to contest in technology. It's not our area. We can't contest in electronics. It's not our area. You cannot contest in car manufacturing. It's not our area. Come with the strength. Cameroon has the most fertile soil upon the surface of the earth.
The earth.
Cameroon is a country that anything can grow in this country. Yes. They taught us that these apples from France and Greece could not grow in Cameroon. It was a brainwashed statistics. Yes. Later on, we came here, tested it, and it grew on this land. That tells you that Cameroon has every climate across the globe. Yes. What grows in Europe can grow in Buea. Yes. What grows in Europe can grow in Bangula, yes, can grow in the western region, yes, because that is Europe in Cameroon. Yes. What grows in the Middle East, which is the desert, can grow in the north. Yes. Can grow in the north. What grows in America can grow around the equatorial area, the rainforest here. That tells you, Cameroon is a miniature, African miniature. It means we have different climatic conditions that can grow all kinds of crops here. Number two, Cameroon has the most fertile soil. In the north, you go there, every quantity of corn you want to produce, root plants like onion, garlic, beetroots, and the rest, they grow in the north. Cash crops, as you name them, like cocoa, coffee, can grow in the center region, can grow in the west region, can go in the southwest and the northwest. You go to Bamenda, all kinds of vegetables, you can get them there. That tells you that Cameroon has the capacity to feed the world. Yes. And let us act from that angle. Yes. America, come with your Boeing. Europe, come with your Airbus. Yes. France, come with your technology and your cars. But when we go to food stuff, this is our area. A simple example. Tons of camions of beans are being transported to Congo Brazzaville by Cameroonians. Brazzaville feeds from Cameroon. Gabon feeds from Cameroon. Chad feeds from Cameroon. Equatorial Guinea feeds from Cameroon. That tells you that we are the giant of foodstuff or agriculture in this Africa. Yes. Now when we go to the market, food is as important as a vehicle. Because he that does not have food may die. Come on. But he that has no vehicle can still live. Yes. So we should place value on the importance of what we have. To win in the global stage, let us invest in agriculture. That is where our power is. Yes. In other words, we may carry products from this country to the world market that most countries in the world do not have. They don't have. That's what makes us unique. And now, being a strong agricultural nation, most nations that do processing and industrialization depend on us. Truth. Swiss will not produce chocolate if Cameroon does not come with cocoa. If Cote d'Ivoire does not come with cocoa, if Ghana does not come with cocoa. It will shock you to realize that some countries have just one thing they are strong at, yet they are making impact. Malaysia. Don't go far with Kenya. Malaysia is strong only in producing palms. Where did they get their palm seedlings? They came to Nigeria in 1979. Collected those palm seedlings, went back to Malaysia, started planting those palms. Today, even Nigeria imports oil from Malaysia. Can you imagine? The first person that took cocoa was from Fernando Po. Fernando Po, around the 18th century, back to Ghana. When they planted it, within 2 years, they were within 4 years, able to produce the first 2 bags of cocoa. It's one man that brought cocoa cob back to Ghana. Today, Ghana is a threat when it comes to cocoa in the world. Yes. You spoke about Kenya. Kenya is just tourism now.
Kenya is just tourism, and this flower that they used to decorate hotel every morning, you go and put flower. This flower.
That's horticulture.
Flower for decoration.
That's horticulture.
I mean, that's
all. Go to Greece. Greece produces nothing else except these apples. France has no mineral resources under the earth. So how do you explain that those nations with one product survive in the world and they are known all over? Ukraine is known for wheat. Apart from that, nothing else. But come to Cameroon, timber, cocoa, coffee, corn, cassava, plums, mango. What do you want to name?
It's annoying.
The only thing that United Arab Emirates had was oil. Cameroon equally has oil. How can we be giants in so many things, yet we are not known anywhere?
One thing that amazes me, you see like
football.
You see like this shopping mall. This one we have in Douala here, they call it Grand Mall. Yeah. My brother, when this thing came out and I saw people falling down, I cried.
It was a shameful thing.
I cried. I said, "Chai, is this my country?" Kenya has only tourism and this their flower. You see that shopping mall? In one town they call Nakuru, they have it there 5. I mean one town like Kumba, this shopping mall in Douala, they have it in one town 5. These are people who don't have anything. So how come us with everything given on planet?
Where is the problem? Where is this problem? The people who do not believe in themselves, or the policymakers who have not been pressured enough to take decisions that protect and promotes the consumption of what is produced in Cameroon?
It's the system. The system, not the people. It's the system, because when you put a system in place where the people can consume and can do things the way they're supposed to be, because it's going to work. It's not the people. The people did not just decide to start consuming these things or start acting this way. It's the system that has put in place the whole thing that is happening. You understand, Mr. Liu? To me, it's the system, Apostle. Otherwise.
When you say it is the system, let's take the case of the church. Is it a system that is asking these guys to adopt Yoruba and Igbo in worship?
No,
is
listen.
It a system?
Listen, it's all the system. Why do I say it's the system? If our cable lines, cable channels, did not allow that particular line of gospel to keep preaching to our people will not be inspired to do things that way. Just like Apostle Ambe said, that Nigerians, they went to America to discover the secret of revival.
They didn't carry their culture.
And they bring it back. But to us, because the entire system we have been affected, so now we don't have, we now going backward with the work like Michael Jackson, back now. So when we go, do you know that if a Cameroonian girl leave Cameroon right now and go to Lagos, highest 1 week, call her, Esther Naha, oh more, I just did, Shebi, you think say 1 week. But go to Marseille Central, there are Nigerians who have been here for 25 years, their accent has not changed. They have not changed, because these are people who will take your secret, but will never take your culture. Never. So it is a problem. It is a problem. And I strongly believe that no matter how we talk to the people, if the government does not put in place a system of banning of the foreign influence, where our people cannot have access to consume those foreign stuff, nothing will ever work.
Nothing will ever work.
Yes.
I tell you that we are in a digital economy where it's difficult to control these things, but is it real? Can we actually check this, or we are also deceived to think that we are helpless?
No, it's very possible to check.
Okay.
It's very possible.
Very possible.
Nigeria did not control the inflow of products in their country because there was no digitalization. For instance, Nigeria banned the inflow of turkey.
Yes.
Yeah? Turkey beef, this fowl,
yes,
is a contraband good in Nigeria. Why? Because a person like Olusegun Obasanjo has a poultry farm that can produce at least 30 million a month. He supplies a huge number of Nigerians with fowl. So they have to institute that, because if turkey is coming in, turkey not a country, turkey, let me call it turkey fowl. If it's coming in, it's going to affect, because it's coming at a cheaper rate. It's going to affect the sales of Olusegun Obasanjo's chicken poultry. And Obasanjo is not the only Nigerian with large-scale poultry farming. Cameroonians were recently stopped from taking tomatoes to Nigeria because Dangote has bought 17,000 hectares of land to farm tomatoes in the north. So you will consume the Nigerian tomato whether you do not like it. Ask Nigeria, Cameroonian farmers who are doing tomato business in Nigeria, they have stopped recently because somebody came up. It will also shock you to realize that the coming up of the Dangote refinery will affect Nigeria's petroleum products in any other country. You will realize that products that they could not produce in their refinery, if Dangote is producing right now, they won't import them anymore. All this engine oil we're importing, Dangote will produce it, they will not import anymore. That tells you that they are empowering their home-based products. Okrika as second-handed used clothes was something that was entering Nigeria in those days. But when they started developing factories where they are producing t-shirts and shirts in Nigeria, they banned the influx of Okrika in the country. So you realize that all those things were done in a digital economy. That tells us that we too can work it out. Why? The only thing our individuals can consume through the media on Facebook or YouTube is music and movies.
Yes.
If we block the borders, that Chinese fish will not enter here. It won't enter. Other products will not enter. They will not enter. Number two, we should give our fishermen the kind of boats that Chinese people are using to wipe all the fish around the Bunta shore.
Come on.
The Chinese people cannot swim more than our fishermen now. There are Ghanaians and Beninois and Nigerians around the shores of the country fishing. I have traveled to Nigeria through boats. All those villages at the creeks there, going to Nigeria, they are fishermen, and not only Cameroon, they are Ghanaians. If you go in the high sea, you will see Chinese boat in the middle of the sea. They are doing fishing there. They have nets that push them to catch fishes that Cameroonians' nets could not catch. Cameroonians will catch some fish, look there, it's not mature, they throw it back in the river. Chinese will arrest, catch that fish and take it and go and extract the oil from it and sell us the chaff. Because the oil from fish is very medicinal. So the problem is we have to set up some rules of engagement. But now, since all these things they import is some politicians' business, they can never fight against it. Somebody has a license to bring Heineken in the entire country. Do you know how many persons are eating from that importation? So you want them to stop the inflow of Heineken in this country so that a chain of businessmen and a chain of ministers and politicians will lose their business. That's something they will not accept. Somebody is in charge of importing fish in the country. We will not even go there. And now, instead of trying to fight these people, these men, we have turned them all into politicians to be in a political party so they can defend the interests of the party, not the masses. So because they are protecting a party, defend the interest of a party, they are not defending the masses, let them continue their importation. How do you explain that somebody had license to bring olio in Cameroon? Olio alone. That is what the issue is. Now, they have banned olio from coming in. Look at the price of mayo. Mayo has risen from the 900 it used to be to 1,700 because there's no competitor.
Now, look at the value of euro consumed across the globe.
Euro.
Yes, euro.
Yes.
What have we done of it? How are we valorized euro to make sure that it brings in billions to Cameroon?
Is that what I was saying here? Go there and see how Nigerians. Do you know that Cameroonians now sell cocoa to Nigerians?
Yes.
Because Nigerians are buying it more expensive.
Yes.
Than the whites who are coming here.
Yes. Recently, there was an arrest of some trucks.
Eru. There is no country, I repeat, in Africa that produces Eru more than Cameroon. That would have made us determine the price of Eru.
Okay, that will go.
I'm telling you, we are strong in so many things. Yes, we don't even know we are strong.
We don't even know we are strong.
We don't even know.
We don't know.
Do you know that Singapore, that's a first world country now, has just a seaport?
Yes.
Singapore does not have any natural resources
Even one
that they can boast
one.
of. Singapore has but the seaports. The way they have programmed the seaport, all countries exporting to Asia use the Singaporean port.
That is it. You use what you
Americans
have.
go there. Single energy in one area is making a country stable. We have Eru. Eru alone can stabilize the Cameroonian economy. Garlic, the medicinal value of garlic is yet to be explained. And we have tons of garlic from the north.
From the north. Large quantity.
Oh gosh.
But at times there are some things that when you sit, Apostle, you sit and you imagine it. Something is just telling you who can just put you an authority to take some because to be honest, the problem is that what you are even saying about those people who have license to do those things, they are very few.
Okay.
The masses are suffering.
Okay. Joyful King says, I'm enjoying the program. It's very interesting. Princely Way says it depends how we are brought up because that matters. Ngong Bronhilda Maniga says watching from Limbe. Ta Ray Isa says watching live from Bamenda. The shadow. Okay. Sheikh Lovi says sometimes I believe channeling the right proposals to the right quarters is very necessary than too much talking in the air. I don't think it's the government's fault, but that of the youth who are very dormant waiting for manna from heaven. Ngala Evelyn Bongbimi says, greetings to you, Mr. Kum Leonard and the panelists on air. I must acknowledge the fact that the topic of today is quite sensitive and I have this to contribute. To believe in us promote and consume what we produce, we must have to put the following into consideration. Have confidence in ourselves and in our capabilities, be able to appreciate ourselves, our output and our potentials, learn to trust ourselves, the quality and importance of what we produce, develop the spirit of encouraging those producing different products in different sectors, disconnect from the spirit of inferiority complex, and cultivate a spirit of self-confidence disease. From destructive criticisms, build positive energy and give constructive criticisms that can be of help. Cage aside the spirit of defeatism and rather be inspired by the produce of others. Okay, learn to also and accept new ways of improving upon our products. Cultivate the spirit of togetherness because life is about working together to achieve greater goals. Above all, let us search for new methods of production and be ready to bar the link between neglecting the consumption of foreign products and embrace the consumption of our local products. That notwithstanding, I think if we are positive, we will be able to believe in ourselves, promote and consume what we produce because everything begins from the mindset. Let optimism be our watchword. Ngala Evelyn, writing there from Yaoundé. Good evening. Nsungkikang Immaculate says, I think we can organize programs that will educate our citizens to believe in ourselves and how to go about production. Educate our parents on the various crops to cultivate and why. Most importantly, we have to table this idea to our government so that they see how to help and encourage the population. Okay, Immaculate is watching from Nkozwa in Yaoundé. Princess Estelle is in Bomenda. Njong Emmanuel watching from Bafoussam. Akom Ziwum says, I'm watching from behind, from Bamenda, Mr. Leonard. Okay. SK Jazz Paco says, always live from Bafut. Love the program, Prime App and my media Prime group. Okay. Fundon Walters, good evening, Mr. Liu. I want to believe that the government is the reason we don't promote what we produce. Okay. Ne Blandine Atunji says, I really enjoy the points of Apostle. Okay. And Difonab Mukum, good evening, sir. I'm watching live from Bamenda. Clovis Shak, enjoying the program from Bafoussam. Gwente Sylvester, good evening, Mr. Leonard. Nice program there. CY International is making a very good point about 80-20 when I was controlling stick boat from Cameroon to Nigeria, precisely Ikang. I went to one point in Ikang where I bought my phone to telecharge my phone with Cameroon music. I was shocked, could not find a single Cameroonian music. That was in 2008 when I was 10. Why they told me we have only Petit Pays. Then I said, give me Petit Pays, they don't have. Okay, CY International, go ahead. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm watching from Hertford in Dutch land. Okay, Brian Photo, good evening to you. Lee Prince says, the only outfit that's official to me and in which I find myself comfortable in it is my cultural regalia. Anything Africa is super to me. Els Plaza, good evening, Mr. Kum, watching from Boya, Tufion, Genevieve, watching from Fundong. Ne Blandine Atunji, watching from Bafoussam. Lee Prince, say meets. Okay. Ginny Vicky, the evangelist, is watching from Bamenda. Lambi Dumotua Etienne is watching from Ingo Ketunja. Romeo Cha is watching from Kumba Musa. Janari is watching from Bafusa. Now, how do we engage policymakers to reflect these views that are being sent forth out from across the nation? Are they not living with the people? Don't they also understand what we are saying here? Talking about lawmakers.
Yeah, Mr. Leo, you know the nation we find ourselves into. You need to belong to somebody who belongs to somebody who belongs to somebody who knows somebody to take you, introduce you to the lawmaker so you can express or you can give them this particular idea.
They're in Boya, they're in Bomenda, they're everywhere.
They are seeing us, they are aware, but they know. I can assure you that they know. CY has been on this thing for 10 years now. There is no English Cameroonian who is popular on social media more than myself with this 80-20 campaign. There is no day you can open social media without seeing CY's name being mentioned somewhere. But me, I'm not a politician, and I'll not even dream to become a politician one day. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm just a patriotic citizen of this nation. But do you still want me to go, oh no, I want to meet the minister, oh no, I want to do this? Them who can think, they are seeing me. Why can't you call me to, okay, CY, I will take you to the minister so you can talk more about this, your idea, and see what we can do. But because we are in that country whereby everybody wants to be given credit, even those who are doing some things that are very visible, you will still want them to come and answer Sir Patron before you, so that they will talk tomorrow that I am the one who did it. No, Mr. Neo. How do we get to them? You know that to get even to the ministers, to those people and talk with them is not easy. You cannot just wake up one morning and you go, you say you want to big audience, you want to talk to them. So those who are bigger people who are seeing us right now, who are seeing me, you can stay up and say, okay, CY, tomorrow meet me, I'll take you somewhere. It's good you discuss this thing and we'll see the way we can go, because it is possible, it can happen. Okay. Even Mr. Apostle Ambe, you can call Apostle Ambe here. He has a bigger knowledge. He's a more educated person. You can take him to somewhere. He shared those ideas. You must not employ Mr. Ambe and put him into place. You must not employ him. But at least let it tell you something, because our people, we think that our authorities, they think that they have know all and they have know until end. No. There are people coming with ideas that can better this country that you have never heard before. Okay. Give them chance.
Once again, I'm glad to note that these persons have decided to follow this program till the end of today. Fang Dominique, who is an elite of from Bafmeng, Fungam subdivision, Menchum division. He is a Bafmeng elite out here in Douala, the nation's economic capital. And also to you, Mr. Anthony Apapa, who is another Bafmeng elite out here in the nation's economic capital, a business magnate. And to you, Mr. Timbang Pascal, an elite from Batibo, based in Douala. You are also watching the program. We want to say we salute you all watching from Bunaberi, and to say kudos to Bafmeng United, that is aptly representing the Northwest region this year's Interpol's competition taking place in the nation's capital. Apostle Ambe Valentine Ngwa, we're looking at ways of engaging for policies to be implemented that would help Cameroonians focus more on what is produced here.
Yes, Mr. Leo. We cannot write out the activities of some very competent Cameroonian elites and also legislators who are doing their best to make sure that they fix things. I believe as the days are going by, things will get better. Let me use the opportunity to actually appreciate Honorable Ngala Gerard. He's my neighbor and he has displayed some attributes of a leader. It has nothing to do with money. If you see a leader, you will know the guy is excellent when it comes to leadership. He has an attitude of a leader that can accommodate any category of human being, and I believe with God helping them to be in the lower house, it will help them also to help push certain policies into manifestation. I'm sure they are listening to us, and I believe some goodwill Cameroonians who are in the place of making laws can also listen to us and help to try push this thing, because when a bill is voted and it's established, it goes easily, because Cameroon is not somebody's property that you will say an individual can stand and decide. But we are talking to the person who are the lawmakers, that if they vote a bill and the bill is established, everybody will be bound to respect it. As a matter of fact, whatever we are respecting today is because the House, upper and the lower house, deliberated, voted the bill, and they enacted the bill. So we are talking to those who are lawmakers of the country, who are listening to us right now, that if you see any need and the importance of what we are sharing, please raise these topics up. It has nothing to do with the politics you guys are doing in your political party. It has to do with the well-being of Cameroonians. It has to do with the well-being of the economy. So as you are listening to us, please, we are driving our messages to faithful and competent parliamentarians and senators of the country. A good example, which I have known, a man of integrity and character, somebody I have watched his leadership skill and his humility, which he demonstrated something recently that marveled me. I was standing by the roadside, my car was bad, I was to take a car. Honorable Ngalaja was driving a very expensive car. He drove past, I did not even see him. He went and turned, came back and then called me and said, brother, you are standing here, why are you going to? I said, I'm going to turn. He took me in his car.
Wow.
Please, that gesture alone tells me that that is a man that has burden for the people. That's a man that meets the needs of the people. That's somebody who left his high horse, came down, and then he can lower any country. That's an exemplary leadership, and I think they are listening to us. Let them take these worries we're also presenting on behalf of the entire nation to the lower house, so they can deliberate on these things and then enact them as law, and then make the 80-20 dream become a reality. We can only share our dreams, can only share our visions, but we are not in the place of the law to enact it. So we are calling upon you legislators to look into this matter and raise them up tomorrow in the parliament.
Amen.
Okay, the messages are so many. Mr. Kum, we are not economically or politically independent, okay? Good evening, Mr. Liu CY International and Apostle Ambe, Ajong Martin watching from Gabon. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Ambo Marie from Bingui following keenly, very educative. Thank you so much, Mr. Liu, and your educative panel. Alexander watching from Bahrain. What a program, very educative. Okay, Alexander is watching from Bahrain. Thank you. Oops. Hello, Mr. Leo, watching from Yaoundé. I truly love the program. Kudos, thank you. Good evening, Mr. Kuma, to all the panelists. Prayers to you all, and to CY. Don't give in because of criticism from ignorant Cameroonians. Speak any word that will bring change in Cameroon entertainment industry. I'm Kulo Maxel Ewi, watching from Limbe. Good evening to you, Maxel. Glenn from Bamenda, logistically speaking, the government is very conscious of everything all of you have said. Killing the private sector is their political strategy. If you must make money, you have to be part of the civil sector. When the whole country now depends on the government, dictatorship is perfected. Just look at the taxes, leave it on companies, okay? So the messages are coming in their numbers. Apostle Ambe, Valentine Ngwa. But we can't also live without getting something from out of Cameroon.
Of course. That's why we laid emphasis on importing what we cannot produce,
okay,
and consuming what we can produce.
Yes.
Because we are not excellent in every area.
Of course. Let's
consume our strengths and import our weakness. That's what we are talking about here. What you can do, you import. But to the extent of importing something like toothpick that we can do here is a problem.
It's a problem.
Do you know that around 2020, Cameroon imported pork worth 43 point something billion pork meat? While we can do...
It's something that is sometimes you hear some of these things, you are even ashamed to
we can cultivate and rear pigs here that will not even push us to import porks.
Come on.
You see, we import pork here in this country for 42.5 billion around the year 2020. Statistics show that. We're importing pork, importing toothpick, importing cotton board. That's a problem. Now, how do we do this? We are not going to stop immediately the importation.
Yes.
We are encouraging the production of local companies while we are reducing gradually the importation. It's a gradual process. You understand? It can take us 10 years, it can take us 20 years. But as a matter of fact, we saw, okay, some companies are producing cotton bud now. Maybe they can produce 2%, we import 8%. As they're increasing to 4%, we import 6%. As they're increasing to 8%, we import until that one we wipe it out. We cannot do a spontaneous stop of importation immediately. No, it's a gradual process. By so doing, we empower local companies. As they are growing further, we are reducing the intake of foreign companies.
That's it.
That's the strategy. Yes, that's the economic strategy, and it has to be put in place. Now, when we look at all those things, you realize that most of the things we are going to import has to do with technology. For instance, vehicles. We have not attained that level. Meanwhile, we should be working on how we can have factories that can produce the cars here.
Yes.
Even if we are doing the assembling, to some extent, it will reduce the cost.
It will. It will.
Okay, for instance, a friend of mine said, Hyundai Jeep, your car in Dubai is 1.8 million for petrol engine, but it is clearly at the port for 3.6 million. That makes it 5.4 million. Which, if it is bought there for 1.8 million and removed it for 1 million, you have a Hyundai for 2.8 million. That's the price of Hyundai in Dubai. Petrol engine, not even gas. But it is cleared at the point for 3.6 million. And that tells you that tells you why we don't accept the creation of automobile companies here, because we make so much money at the entrance of the port there, at the expense of the masses.
At the expense of the masses, because there's so much, the much money they are producing is not getting. Mr. Leo, I hear people saying, "Oh, the world is a global place, global market and all those stuff." How do you compete globally when you don't have strength of what you produce? Can you take
the foundation is not solid?
The foundation is not solid. Can you take a photocopy to go and compete globally? That is me, CY. I'm from Ghana. I'm from Ghana and I'm producing this cap.
Yes.
You are from Cameroon. Now you want to use my own Ghanaian cap to go and compete globally.
In the market, it's not possible.
My friend.
Okay. Hello, Prime. I think in as much as we, the population, have a great role to play, the government has a bigger role. I remember many years ago, we consumed mostly imported frozen chicken, but since the government caused a change, we now consume more of locally grown chicken, which has created a market for our chicken farmers. And whatever happened to our marketing board, which is the best solution? Agbo is writing from Boya. He insists that I must read his message. Okay, I've read it. Greetings, Mr. Liu and entire panel. The topic is quite sensitive as it touches on the very foundation of a nation, being culture and economy, which unfortunately are in a regrettable state. There is a dire need for a total overhauling in the governing machinery of the country if and only we are not ruled by foreigners. I'm Male Andrew, writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Our problem is ostentatious. We have a mentality that goods from abroad are better than what we produce in the country. I love your discussion. More power to your brain. Kongso Olive is writing from Nope, I don't know. It's from Kambe. This is Mr. Annie from Yaoundé. The system of learning in Cameroon has made practicals very difficult. We spend more time on theories than practicals. If our system of learning can be more practical, then production will have positive shifts. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and to you also. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Luke Brian from Tico. I love the program. It is an educative one. Yes, how do we form that strong attachment to a true Cameroonian identity, culture, and tradition?
The first thing is to educate the people. There are many Cameroonians who don't know they are Cameroonians.
Yes.
They go with the flow.
They are following what is trending.
Yes.
They are not following their identity.
Yes.
Follow who you are. Somebody said he's been in Canada for many years and he's working the IT sector. And the giants of the IT sector are the Indians. He said most of the marriages that break in Canada is African women and their husbands.
Yes.
But if you go to Canada, you see an Indian man as an IT engineer, the wife, an IT engineer, making the highest amount of money. Their dressing has not changed. Their tongue has not changed. The respect for their marriage and their culture has not changed. That identity they carried from India has not changed. What they are looking for is your money and your technology. Apart from that, they need nothing from you. When you see our ladies, when they live here, they travel to Canada, immediately they get a job that is a bit higher than their husband's own, their tongue change. They start keeping the culture of that environment. They start bursting their nose and their ears. You realize that they lost their identity, lost their culture, even lost their worth because they changed environment.
Yes.
And so for us to bring back that attachment to our culture, we should carry this culture to where they are. Any group of people out of the country that do not have a union, that maintains their language, maintains their dance culture, maintains their attire, import their own musicians to come, for instance, Backward Union in America, that keeps the mokwe, that keeps the attire, that keeps the culture, that keeps, and then invite African Backward musicians that can come sing for them there. They will lose their identity.
You lost it.
That's the reason why people walk with their culture. There are Cameroonian tribes in Europe and America that have no union. Their funds are not invited. Their musicians from their own native land, they are not invited. Their traditional regalia is never worn. Their language and their dialect is not maintained. So when they go there, the laws are there. So we must carry our culture along with us everywhere we go. It should be a prestige that a man like El Chike Tondong should have visited Europe and America and Asia because of the Ngipo who are there.
Come on, brother.
Tata Kinge was going to Britain, going to America because Bakri people organizing cultural festivals. Bateneko is going to America, going to the rest of the people because they went there. They are organizing the culture. People go along with their cultures. That's what you see. That's what you see. You see in a place like America, you always see Indians there. They maintain their culture. Their religion is maintained. Their language is maintained. Their dressing is maintained. A change of environment does not change their identity. Okay. We have identity crisis.
We are out of time. CY International, all the way from Boye at the Southwest Regional Capital. We're glad to have had you on today's edition of the program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leo. Thank you, Apostle Ambe. You know, I'm always inspired when I'm face to face with Apostle Ambe. These are the kind of people that if they say want to be president today, I will just vote in. I mean, ask me the kind of president. No, you don't laugh.
Which kind of president?
President will have very boys association. President will you don't know. President man of what president, so you stand glad. So you want to take part. You understand? So president so Mr. Leo. Yeah, this is good. You know, I'm a humorist, I'm a comedian, so we put our identity in place. So I'm very happy to be here, and I believe if we can be having this conversation time to time, it will help, because so far so good. You can see from the entertainment sector, you see the same Canada and America where artists like TZ Panchak and Kosi, they used to go there and they are almost abandoned in the hall. Apostle Ambe, can you imagine? These are countries that our artists used to go there. They are almost abandoned in the hall by Cameroonians because Cameroonians don't come out. But by the grace of God, I've intensified this 80-20 thing, and the diasporas, they have really grabbed it, and they are turning up massively. These days, you see our artists, they go to America. As I'm talking to you now, we have like 11 artists in the diaspora. You all know it will never happen like that. It will never happen. You will not hear. Highest 2. But now they are inviting them back to back. So I think our people need to be orientated, you know. So we need to be having this program time to time to tell them, and then we keep praying and begging those people, those honorables who are out there. I know many of them, they are watching us right now. Please, you can find time when you find yourself in the parliament. You can always come up with this topic. Talk about everything that we have discussed here about this 80-20. Make sure, do everything for the government to put it a law for this 80-20, and gradually, trust me, like I said, those of you who think you have got enough now with the government position, trust me, if the economy of this country start booming through what we have, like food, agriculture, you people will have times 10 what you are having today. It's very simple, because all those boys, family people who are bothering you today because of money, you will see that they will not be asking you that money anyhow, because people will be able to create jobs for themselves. Those burdens they will reduce. So please do everything. If you are a big person, a lawmaker, you are listening to me right now, you can still call me and find a way, introduce me to even the Minister of Industrialization or Minister of Culture or any of them, that I can have even 5 to 10 minute discussion with them. And one day, let them make this thing come to pass. And trust me, we'll all enjoy it, even if, you know. So, Mr. Leo, I'll be very glad anytime you invite me again to come and talk about this.
Thank you very much, CY, and to all of you who took time off to watch today's edition of the program, and to you, Desmond and Eli, for production, Tabitha and Brian for supervision. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.